China is still the #1 sourcing base for consumer products, not only because of price, but also because of logistics, supplier agility, speed, and scale. In fact, in 2025, China exported more than 3.77 trillion US dollars worth of goods. And a Wall Street Journal analysis showcased that China's share of the global industrial production has risen to over 27%. So, if you are an Amazon and an e-commerce seller, specifically if you are based in the Middle East and if you want to sell in the Middle East, is China still the right place for you to manufacture and to create your fantastic products? Here are a few facts. China is not just about cheap manufacturing. In fact, it is one of the fastest growing manufacturers in terms of robotics. More than 280,000 robots are being installed every single year. That's approximately double everyone else's manufacturing robotics in order to maintain speed, agility, and everything in terms of automation. Yes, in China. Also, don't forget that China has one of the best logistics systems ever, with Shanghai being the #1 port in the world, with a few other ports available in China also being the busiest and the most heaviest in terms of logistics. Now, China and Chinese manufactured products might not have the best landed cost depending on the market that you intend to sell in, but there are a lot of advantages. Let's talk about them. Jin, you've been providing sourcing services for 10 plus years now, and you are like the probably most followed sourcing expert on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. But in case our followers and viewers don't know you, can you give us a little bit more of a background and exactly what you guys do at Jin Sourcing?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Jing, the founder of Jing Sourcing, and I started my business in 2015. And yeah, just one person. And now we have more than 200 staff members. And our business is we are a sourcing company. We help foreigners to find a manufacturer in China to help them make products and ensure quality and also manage the shipment. So it's like one spot sourcing service provider. And so our service is very simple. For people, if you want to source from China, if you go to Alibaba, and which means you need to do everything by yourself. Yeah, you need to communicate with suppliers, find suppliers, and everything you need to do by yourself. But with Jing Sourcing, you only need to deal with one professional China sourcing expert. Yeah, we call agent. The agent will help you deal with all the manufacturers, so you don't need to worry about anything. The agent can also help you like ensure the quality, and and in the most case, I will say like more than 70 or 80%, our price will be better than the price you get from Alibaba, because we work with a lot of like manufacturers who are not on Alibaba, but they are the best resource offering the most competitive price.
So let's get stuck into it. Jin, as you know, China, for me, in my own humble opinion, is the #1 sourcing country and manufacturing country, specifically for e-commerce and Amazon sellers, because of various different reasons. But I want to hear from you. Why do you think China should be the #1 place where sellers, Amazon sellers in particular, or e-commerce sellers go to in order to source their products?
Okay, so China, of course, with no doubt, it's the most important place, and of course the best place for e-commerce sellers, or even like all kinds like importers to source products. And because the first is we are the because China has the most well-developed supply chain for any kind of products, and with the same type of products, we have hundreds of manufacturers making very similar product, which means that you always get a very good price because everyone is competing, and Chinese people are really good at really like competing on the price. So which means but most product you can get a very good price, and also for e-commerce sellers, usually they buy like a small quantity in the beginning. Except for manufacturer, there are also a lot of wholesalers. So you can always get products with smaller quantity with very competitive price. So it's easy for business to start. But for example, if you source product from like other countries, like Southeast Asia countries, it's very hard to find a manufacturer. Yeah, and they don't have manufacturer for all the products. Maybe sometimes you need to get some product from Malaysia, some product from Vietnam. So it's very like complicated. But in China, just with one country, yeah, you can get everything, and they easy for small quantity, and also for customization. So because Chinese people, they are very their working efficiency is very high. And if they propose a request about like changing the products, like develop product, they will give you feedback, respond very fast. So maybe for most of the products, if you don't need to create a mold, most of the product, like customization just takes like 10 days. Yeah, for example, you want to make a plush toy, you send a picture and they give you a sample within 10 days. Yeah, this is something that it's very hard to happen in like other like for example, like Southeast Asia countries. Yeah. So
I think you are
and also
100% right, for sure.
Yeah. And also it's very easy to source from China. Yeah, no. And also it's very easy to source product from China. No matter you source online or you come to China, there are a lot of places you can visit, like Canton Fair, wholesale market, and sometimes, for example, if you want to buy a coffee mug, you just go to one city next to which is about like 70 kilometers away from our office. You go to that city, Yongkang. There are thousands of manufacturers that just make the coffee mug. So you just go there. You just find the manufacturer on the same street. You will find hundreds of manufacturers, big size, small size. So it's very easy. Yeah, and also like the logistic is very easy. So you want to ship to, for example, Amazon in US or in Middle East countries, and you can ship with a very small quantity. Yeah, but this is not going to happen in other countries.
It's convenient and it's fast, two things that are very important for e-commerce sellers. But to go back to exactly what you were saying, so when somebody wants to get started in sourcing, I think there are three different options, and I want to hear from you what you think the advantages of each option, or when the person should go for what option. So first, we've got websites like Alibaba. Second, we've got just traveling to China, to, like you said, fairs like Canton Fair, or just traveling to find manufacturers and talk to them face to face. And third, which I think combines everything together and makes it very convenient, is working with experts like yourself, where, you said, it's a one-stop shop and can do everything. What do you think are the options for sellers? Like, in your very long experience, when should sellers, for example, travel to China? Do they need to even travel to China? When should they use Alibaba? Let me know your thoughts.
Well, like traveling to China it's very time consuming. Yeah. So for example, if you don't know what kind of product to source, and you just want to see like more products like in your hand that you with your eyes you can see it, then it's better to come to China instead of like just checking on a website. So if you really understand, for example, you use tools, use your tools to analyze, to select products, then you find 5 or 6 products that you will want to test. And in this kind of situation, you don't need to come. You just order some samples from Alibaba, or like from the sourcing company like us. You can test it. It's very fast. So the sample will arrive within a week. So you can test it. And then like for some people, they prefer to see, for example, they want to do a niche products. Let's say like pet products. They want to find some like some design which is like not many people are selling on Amazon. Then it's better come to China. For example, you can go to some like pet product showrooms. You go to the wholesale market, or if it's like during Canton Fair period, then you can go to Canton Fair, or there are a lot of exhibitions in China. So we can, maybe there's a pet exhibition, so we go there to find some products, some designs which are not available on Amazon yet.
Because the reason why I asked you this question, Jin, is because a lot of people stop themselves from selling products online because they say, I can't find a source, and I don't have time to travel to China right now, as you said. So you don't have to travel to China. And you don't have to talk to random suppliers on Alibaba either. You have the option of working with sourcing experts like yourself and your team.
Yeah.
That's been, you've worked with thousands of Amazon sellers.
Yeah.
And I want to highlight this because, as you know, Amazon is quite different. It's not, so you want to work with somebody that understands how Amazon works. So that's why I would, you don't need my endorsement, but I would highly recommend people to check out the Jin sourcing for sure. Okay, my last question, Jin, is related to mistakes. I like to always be positive, but it's also important to understand that you can know certain mistakes that other people are doing that you can avoid. What are, I would say, maybe the top 2 or 3 mistakes that you find maybe new Amazon sellers make when it comes to buying products from China or sourcing products from suppliers?
Okay. Yeah. So I really like to answer the question because, like we have been helping Amazon sellers since 2016 till now. Wow, so many years.
Wow.
And for different states, there are different Amazon sellers. Yeah, the product, the way this product is totally different. And even like last year, we tried, we set up a like small team to sell Amazon by ourselves. I mean, I just want to understand it.
Yes.
And I had 10 people, and I made a lot of mistakes. I fired half of them, and now still like 5 left. And in the end, I will just keep like maybe 2 or 3, which like generating profit. And then that's it. I mean, at least I understand Amazon.
Yeah.
I don't want to expand the team because it's not our core business. I just want to understand it. So the mistake. So firstly, like you cannot. I mean, it's not suggested to make some like very unique products, something that's not existing in the market. Yeah, because it's very time consuming, and it costs a lot of money, and the chance to succeed is very low. Within this time, effort, and the money you spend, why not try something that someone is already like successful, and you make some like adjustment. Yeah, because someone have proved it works.
100%.
Yeah. So do not try something like brand new because too time consuming. It takes maybe, for example, if you want to customize something, it will like take you a few months. Yeah, within 1 year you can do. You cannot do many things. Yeah. So this is the first advice, also the mistake.
Before I continue, if you want to work directly with Jing sourcing and you want to make sure that you get a fantastic agent that understands how Amazon works, and specifically in the Middle East, then make sure that you use our link with Jing sourcing. I'll leave it in the description box of this video.
So yeah, the second mistake is like don't stick with low price because supply chain is the most stable. Because the supply chain stability is the most important thing. And a lot of like a beginner, they just want to find like the most competitive price in the beginning, and then the sample the quality might be not good. So after you're selling for a while and you got a lot of like defects, like you have a lot of like bad reviews, it hurts your ranking. Yeah. So price don't need to be like the cheapest, but the suppliers, they should be, should be good one, very like trustworthy. And if you don't need to worry about the quality issues, then the selling will be more more easy.
You're not worried about returns. You're not worried about negative reviews. You know the quality of the product is good. Got you.
Yeah. So like and also like you always need to have some like backup suppliers. For example, like there's one supplier. You always choose. For example, if your first supplier doesn't work well and you still have backup, so even though the price is a little bit higher, then it's fine. Otherwise, if you had some problem and you start again to find a new supplier, it's very time consuming, and your products like is going to like out of inventory and your rank dropped. Yeah, and as long as like the price is within like as long as the supplier's price is very similar, then you can consider try that.
Also, what about, Jing, in your opinion, MOQs? Like I find a lot of sellers, even if it's their very first product that they're launching, not only on Amazon, like this is their very first time in e-commerce, this is their very first business. They are okay with very, very high MOQs. And I sometimes say, no, it's better to start small and then scale. Let me know your opinion about that.
Okay. Yeah, that's also the third mistake that I want to mention about you always need to like control inventory. For minimum order quantity, I would say like for most Chinese manufacturer, their MOQ is about like $1,000. But within this MOQ, you can work like you can get directly from the manufacturer instead of like wholesalers. Yeah. So yeah, and for minimum order quantity, I mean, if you are very successful seller, I mean, you really, I mean, the chance, how to say, like, the chance to select product. I mean, if you are very confident about the product, because you have
Yeah.
like, yeah, because if you are really confident about the product you choose, then you can, and you have very rich experience in selling, and you can start with higher kill, no problem. And but for most beginners, don't do that because now Amazon is not as easy as past. Yeah, because a lot of people will. I mean, you will have a lot of competitors. For example, like some product you see, you when you find it, you find it's the product is good, but when you are shipping to Amazon, you start selling, you will find everyone is like drop the everyone is like reducing the price, and your margin become very low. If you have too much inventory, and then like most of product they are not going to sell. Yeah, so you always need to keep your like let's say like for test order, yeah, you keep within maybe like $2,000, yeah, or something around this. Yeah, not too much. Yeah, and if it's going to sell, and then you can like start reorder. So you always need to control your inventory because if your products if your inventory didn't sell for a long time, and Amazon will charge you a very high expensive like warehousing cost. So you always, yeah, you have your plan, like you have your plan about how many pieces is going to sell every month. Then uh, according to this, you manage the quantity to purchase and to ship to Amazon. And for our company, we have big warehouse. So some of our clients, they will buy like a lot of products, and they will left like half of them in our warehouse. They ship to Amazon first. If they sell well, and then we help them ship after that, instead of like ship all of them to Amazon.
Do you want to add anything else on top of that, or is that enough, you think?
Yeah, I think like that's a lot of information. I mentioned like two mistakes that I suggest people to avoid.
Big thank you to Jing. Let me know your thoughts. Leave your comments and questions. Maybe we'll do a part 2 in the comments section below. As always, I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.